Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Snake Onyx here. Welcome back all. Now, I just want to get started by saying thank you for reaching near 600 views on the reaction video for One Against a Million. And I hope you guys will join these reaction videos because I love Detective Void's content. He is amazing at this work. And if Detective Void, if you're watching this, if you want me to stop making them, I understand. Just comment down below and I will stop immediately. Okay, ready. So we're gonna play this in 3, 2, 1, play.
After moving to a new city, the young guy couldn't afford to rent a good apartment, so he had to stay in an outlying area that was less expensive. He wasn't too picky, so he really didn't complain.
We're just not gonna complain about this weird face in the background. What the heck is that? Wait, like, who is this man? It's so realistic too. Is it Detective Boy's dad or something? I don't know.
Complain about this. But the young man didn't like the gloomy, sometimes frightening streets and early ascents. He had spontaneously decided to move, dropping out of college and leaving his fiancée.
Oh,
At
wow.
first, he often doubted what he had done and felt a sense of guilt, especially when he looked at his new life from the outside. The young man often had to walk home from the train station, which was quite far away.
Ooh.
Sometimes in the early morning,
Sorry,
he
man.
would stop at a small cafe to drink coffee. While drinking the invigorating brew, the guy contemplated the future and the validity of the decisions he had made. With each passing day, the guy's confidence in his actions grew. It was as though he saw signs everywhere that proved him right and soothed his guilt. Gradually, he began to feel calm in his new home. It seemed that this was bliss. But the situation changed abruptly for no apparent reason. The young man began to rethink old, long-forgotten actions, and then to justify everything that he did, not only in specific situations, but in his everyday life too.
I know what it's called,
The
guilt.
need for self-justification grew so much that the guy began to think out loud. He was fired from his job.
I think I would be fired too if I did that. I mean, I do that on a regular basis if I do this. Like, I don't speak out loud. I just pretend like I am. I just whisper it. I don't yell it out or anything. But these are some weird costume designs. But I won't complain.
Due to overt signs of mental illness. The young man pondered literally every little thing. He went so far as to try to justify why he took a particular piece of food first.
Why?
These justifications dragged on for several hours. As a result, the guy lost his ability to eat normally and began to suffer from hunger. One day he was wandering around the city in oblivion when suddenly all of his delusions dissipated. Coming upon the place where he used to drink coffee, the young man seemed to wake up. In one moment, everything became so simple and clear. He walked confidently to the train station, and he clearly felt what he had to do: kill himself. Suicide cases.
Do I need to put a warning or something about this? Because I don't even know if that's going to be the case in this one. Oh my god. I didn't think of this. Wow. I should not apologize. YouTube, do not come at me. This is Detective Void, not me.
Became very common in the area where the deceased young man lived. There were crazy people wandering around the streets talking to themselves.
This got dark.
This was all caused by an inconspicuous neon sign with an inscription in English, "Too late to die young." The anomalous events interested SCP Foundation agents. Within 1 year, a suspiciously large number of people had died from starvation in the city. There were frequent cases of self-negligence among the residents as well. The neon sign that caused this chaos was removed and classified as Euclid under the number SCP-078.
Wait, that's the place?
Unofficially, the object was named Guilt. It's completely safe when turned off, so it just hangs on the wall in its cell. An outlet was installed near SCP-078 for the duration of the experiments. The rest of the time, the sign is powered down. All employees working with the object should know where the outlet is, and must also remember the location of the switch to know whether it's turned on or not. Only those who can find the outlet in the chamber with their eyes closed are allowed to work with SCP-078.
Gentlemen.
This will allow them to unplug the object if, for some reason, it powers on outside the confines of an experiment. Things get dangerous if you look at the glowing sign for at least 10 seconds. If you look at it for only a few seconds, then there's no effect. The viewer will also be safe if they don't understand the English text. If a person has looked at the object for at least 10 seconds straight, he's exposed to the anomalous influence. The affected person begins to see additional phrases in all handwritten texts.
The world in fire in ice help. What?
They have no connection to the theme of the writing, and they're written in a different handwriting. At first, these sentences were phrased as to reduce one's feelings of guilt.
Nice.
A person under SCP-078's influence can use them to justify their actions. They convince themselves of the validity of these decisions that they feel guilty for. Thus, one of the Foundation scientists left his family in order to work at the organization. One day he was reading his notes, which included an alien inscription that read, "Your work will save humanity." It turned out that the researcher had accidentally fallen under the influence of SCP-078. The specialists also conducted an experiment with a D-Class employee. The man was convicted of murdering his wife. He committed the crime in a state of passion. He had sincerely suffered and was remorseful.
You better
After being
be.
exposed to the neon sign, he began to justify what he had done. He found a new sentence among the entries in his diary. It claimed that his wife deserved such a fate because of her behavior.
What the actual...
At first, these phrases help the affected to ease their conscience and relax. But then the appearing text takes on a different meaning. It encourages the person to search for unhealthy excuses for their negative actions.
Nothing is healthy about
downplay
this.
the negative consequences of these actions. As such, the aforementioned doctor saw a sentence claiming that the family he abandoned didn't love him anymore. But that wasn't all.
Sometimes that is actually
SCP-078's effect progresses even further, forcing the victims to dig into their past.
No.
They begin to exonerate themselves for old deeds that they perhaps didn't feel guilty for at the time. In the last stage, people who have succumbed to the object's influence begin to justify all of their actions without exception, including rudimentary everyday things that you and I don't even think about. The object's victims feel the need to explain literally every step they take to themselves. There are so many of these excuses that people start saying them out loud. Because of the great stress this causes, they refuse to perform some of their day-to-day tasks.
Have you guys ever felt that annoyed when someone just talks to you? I get that by myself every day. I feel annoyed just talking to me every day.
Gradually, their to-do list grows shorter, and only those actions necessary for survival remain. And even then, the victim can no longer perform them without a lengthy explanation. It gets to the point where those under the influence of SCP-078's anomalous powers can't even eat. People start to make excuses for why they chose this particular piece, why they took a bite of this particular part, and why they took 2 sips instead of 1 or 3. As a result, the object's victims starve and die of malnutrition. A person can only be saved at this stage with the help.
He still has blood on him. He has blood on him from his song. Did you not wash your clothing, man?
Of intravenous nutrition. Several D-Class employees and scientists affected by SCP-078's influence are kept in this state. Researchers watch them in the hopes that one day they'll find a cure. It turns out that the neon sign's effect on the subjects doesn't end there. The situation deteriorates if someone already under the influence of the object's powers takes another look at it. In this case, after repeated eye contact, the affected person sees more and more messages that evoke strong feelings of guilt. Meanwhile, the strength of the effect of these phrases depends on how long the person has been under the influence of SCP-078. Researchers' experiments have shown that, within a week of the subject's initial exposure to the object, repeated observation of the neon sign causes them to want to kill themselves. All of those affected attempted suicide.
Okay, do I ask you to put like a warning or something? And one moment, please. Anyway, back to the video.
Suicide under these conditions. The object's victims who were under observation shared another noteworthy detail. The phrases they see are always in a different handwriting from the rest of the text. The researchers conducted a series of experiments and found an unexpected pattern. The writing styles described by those under the object's influence look like the handwriting of people who had previously died due to SCP-078. Scientists have suggested that the anomalous sign somehow reads the writing technique of all those who fall under its influence, and when they die, the object uses their handwriting to create its phrases. It's hard to verify whether this is actually the case, since each subject sees a specific unique sentence, and not all people are able to identify the handwriting accurately. In addition, scientists were only able to get writing samples from a few dozen SCP-078 victims. Apparently, the danger of perceiving the object depends on whether the sign is turned on or not. In addition, one important aspect of this is the person's ability to understand the phrase's meaning. It's been established that those who don't know how to read English, and therefore don't understand what the sign says, are not affected by the object. The phrase itself is a reference to the popular motto, "Live fast, die young." It's mainly used by members of rock and roll subcultures. But the point is to live brightly and intensely, free from rules of society, morality,
I have heard that song, that's amazing,
and other such constraints. The anomalous sign says that it's too late to die young. It seems to hint at how far people are from living a free life. They're bogged down by lies and hypocrisy. They berate themselves for the terrible things they've done, but then they justify themselves and keep doing them. It's very likely that the object is the creation of some demonic entity. This, of course, the theme of the Global Occult Coalition, but you can find evidence of this theory in pop culture. SCP-078 doesn't dictate one's emotions with its anomalous powers, but merely goads a person into feeling them. For example, in the film Constantine, the demons didn't kill people themselves. They whispered words into people's ears which pushed them to make bad decisions. And in the cult film Devil's Advocate, Satan gave the main character a choice between success and a conscience. He appealed to their vices and human weaknesses. SCP-078 acts in a similar way, invoking feelings of guilt for actions that people have actually committed. Therefore, it seems to me that the neon sign is just a toy of some anomalous creature who's having fun watching the effect it has on people.
I'm getting ready to turn this off.
Share your thoughts in the comments below this video, and don't skimp on the likes.
Got him. Okay, now that's done. I'm going to turn it off for copyright. Now, thank you all. Like, I have to know though. How is this thing? Like, it could be related to a soup SCP. Wait, what SCP is that? Soup SCP. SCP-348. It's a soup that actually can make you feel better. So there could be a correlation between this SCP and the other. This SCP, like this, actually, yeah, there's something. It's called SCP-078. This is a Dr. Void video. I have no rights to this video. I'm only merely a reactor. Anyways, I hope you all help me get to 100 subscribers. We are so close. It's amazing. Now I hope you all enjoyed the video. I will leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more Detective Void reactions. I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.